A reality in no time.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. You know, when I was a kid, I grew up on Long Island, New York, 8 miles from Jones Beach. When I moved to Florida, I moved here to Ocala. And how far is it to Daytona? 70 miles, maybe?
Yeah, at the very outside.
All right. So I've always been very close to the ocean, and I've always loved going to the ocean. Never had any fear of going into the ocean, even after Jaws. Well, I'll be honest, a little bit.
Yeah, a little apprehension there.
At one time, I was in the ocean with you when the children were little, and you were not near me. You were with the children in slightly deeper water, and I was in slightly shallower water. And a large, very fast, blue-green colored fish, I mean, bulleted past me, just right past me, right? Heading toward you and the kids. And I said, Robin, there's a big fish coming your way. But I'm sure by the time my words came out of my mouth, it had already passed you. And I said, I don't think it was a shark because it was blue-green. And the expert I am with sharks. Well, I was just looking through this book, Shark, and it could maybe have been. I don't know. Oh, my gosh. Brian Skerry has this amazing book called Shark. If you're looking at the video, I put the cover of the book on. Brian is an award-winning photojournalist. He specializes in marine wildlife. He's an underwater photographer. He's been honored as the Rolex National Geographic Explorer of the Year not too long ago, right? Just a couple days ago? Wow. Yeah. Nice. He's a Nikon ambassador. Oh, my gosh.
For 2017, on June 19th, he was given that award.
We got to ask him some camera questions.
Yeah.
He's a recipient of the 2017 National Geographic Photographer of the Year Award. It just goes on and on and on. The book is outstanding. It's called Shark, an intimate portrait of an elusive predator and an important reminder of what's at stake for our planet Earth.
Yes.
Good morning, Brian. Wow. What a great book you've put together. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Larry. Great to be here.
Where are you?
I am in my home in Massachusetts right now.
See, I was trying to hear behind you if I could hear waves. You're not out in the water somewhere, right?
Well, not exactly. I'm a little bit inland, but I'll be on the water later today or this evening.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, my gosh. How easy is it for you to find sharks?
Well, yeah, it's really a great question. I've been diving with sharks for about 35 years, and it's not especially hard, but contrary to popular belief, just going in the ocean doesn't mean you're ever going to see one. In fact, quite the contrary. I have to work very hard and go to specific places and be very patient in order to get close enough to make pictures of sharks.
Wow. How do you know when is a bad time to be near them?
Well, I think it comes down to sort of this little voice that you hear inside. It's not unlike going into a neighbor's yard and seeing a dog one day and you get a good vibe. He's wagging his tail. Another day you just feel like, I better leave that animal alone. And I think it's the same with wild animals and certainly true with sharks.
Oh my gosh! See, I make that mistake with dogs, so I better not do this. I better not do what you're doing. Yeah. So years ago I saw this fish go very fast next to me, and all these years I thought, well, that probably wasn't a shark. But looking at your book, there are some sharks with blue-green coloring to them, aren't there?
There are, but it might have been Aquaman, too. I was thinking...
That's right.
Might have been you.
It might have been. It could have been, who knows? It could have been a mahi-mahi, dolphin fish. But yeah, it could have been a shark depending on the water coloration and how it looked to you. Very well could have been a shark. Who knows?
So fast. I'm guessing all big fish go fast. It's probably not unusual for them, right?
Sure, especially if they're scared. If there was an animal in amongst people, it's probably actually quite frightened and would have been moving quickly maybe to get out of there.
Well, you've got a wonderful exhibit that's at the National Geographic Museum in Washington, D.C. called Sharks on Assignment with Brian Skerry through the middle of October. That should be fascinating to see.
Yeah, thanks, Robin. It really, this is a great time for sort of celebrating the work that I've done these decades about sharks, the book and the exhibit. I have a documentary on Shark Fest on the Nat Geo channel on July 24th. But, for me, it's really been about trying to give sharks a makeover. I think they've been sort of misrepresented for a long time, and my work is about celebrating them as beautiful animals, but also as a vital part of the ocean ecosystem and important to keeping our planet healthy.
You're the best person to ask this question because you've been doing this for so long. What is the truth about our influence on the oceans? And when I say our, I mean not just Robin and me, but I mean humanity. What are we doing, and what have you actually seen that we've done?
Well, it's pretty devastating. I've been diving for 40 years, exploring the world's oceans, and working for National Geographic magazine, telling stories about the ocean for 20 years. And in just my lifetime, I've seen drastic problems occurring in the ocean. 90% of the big fish in the ocean have vanished in the last 60 years because of overfishing. The sharks, the tuna, the billfish. We've lost 50% of the world's coral reefs. Ocean water is becoming acidic. Ocean acidification because it's pumping too much. We're putting too much carbon in the ocean. Every other breath that a human being takes comes from the sea. More than 50% of the oxygen we breathe is generated by the ocean. But we're really doing a lot of damage out there. And in regards to sharks, we collectively humans have been killing 100 million sharks a year, more than 100 million every year for many years.
Wow.
And, we can't keep doing that and expect the ocean to be healthy.
Oh my gosh, the book is very educational. I'm guessing most people flip through it, look at the pictures, and then go back and read the text. It's just one of those books that your photography is so outstanding. It's kind of hard not to be captivated by those images.
Thanks. Yeah, well, I appreciate that because, a big part of my quest has been to show these animals as something beautiful. I saw my first shark when I was 20 years old, and as a 20-year-old guy, I think I just wanted to get some street cred with my dive buddies to dive with sharks and say that I had done that. But it really had a profound effect on me in the sense that I saw them as a great photo subject. They blend grace and power very beautifully, and so a big part of my life was about trying to make those perfect photos of sharks as subjects, but then I came to see them as a fragile species that really needed a bit of a makeover as well.
When you do your photography, do you do it as a hard hat diver or do you do it free roaming?
Yep, I'm usually scuba diving or even sometimes just snorkeling, just free diving, because even the bubbles from my scuba tank might scare some of these sharks away. It's really contrary to popular belief that these animals are going to come in and be all over you. You have to be very patient, you have to work very hard, go to the right places, and spend a lot of time. Being unencumbered and sort of free roaming and under there as long as I can be is really important.
So could I ask you to do us a role playing sort of kind of here? Let's say you're our friend and we're going to go out and meet with a bunch of other shark photographers,
right.
and everybody's drinking and it's time to one up one another. Can you give us your one up story? What is your one up story?
Well, the truth is, my one-up story is probably exquisite stories, wonderful stories. I was doing a story for National Geographic about sharks of the Bahamas a few years ago, and the one shark that I was hoping to photograph was a species called the oceanic white-tip, which as recently as the 1970s was considered the most abundant large animal on planet Earth. Today it's 99% in decline. It's on the verge of extinction for its fins. But I got a report while I was working on this story from some sport fishermen that were catching yellowfin tuna in a part of the Bahamas, and they said that as they were reeling in the tuna, they said oceanic whitetips were stealing their fish off the line. So I chartered a boat out of Palm Beach, Florida. We went down for 16 days, and in 16 days we only saw one oceanic whitetip, but it was a magnificent female. She came up late in the afternoon. I got in the water and spent about 2 hours with her. She was, this is considered the fourth most dangerous species, but she was quite polite. She just sort of circled around us and allowed me to make pictures and, get those images to tell that story that I think is an important one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to one up that one. I would rather hear those stories than the guy who says I had my arm chewed off by one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what an honor! I know you've got to run. Thank you for taking time out of your day. The book is available everywhere. I found it on Amazon. Do you want to send us to a website? You have a website, right, Brian?
I do. People can follow me on Instagram and all the social media, but the book's available anywhere books are sold. So Amazon is great, or any other bookseller.
Yeah, it's simply called Sharp. Brian Skerry, Skerry, Skerry. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Robin.
All right, we will take a break and we will be right back. This is WOCA.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
The unique way farmers are growing coffee in California. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
Calling all citrus growers, production managers, and industry decision makers, the 26th Annual Citrus Expo is set for August 16th and 17th at the Lee Civic Center in Fort Myers. Don't wait. Pre-register now at citrusexpo.net to be eligible to win a John Deere gun safe provided by Everglades Farm Equipment. Citrus Expo, sponsored in part by Plant Food Systems, Everglade Farm Equipment, GP Solutions, and New Farm. Get the details at citrusexpo.net and in Citrus Industry Magazine.
California-grown coffee? You heard that right. The Golden State is famous for its strawberries, avocados, grapes, raisins, dates, apples, almonds, citrus, and so much more. But now it seems coffee is the next big thing, and farmers have found a unique way to grow it, including using water-saving techniques. That's because coffee doesn't really like to grow anywhere in the continental United States. The crop generally prefers two types of environments: subtropical areas with defined seasons at moderate elevation, and tropical areas at very high elevations. The closest we get to a tropical climate is South Florida, which doesn't nearly have enough elevation. Now, farmers in Southern California are figuring out ways to make coffee thrive by growing the coffee bush under the shade of older, taller, low-yielding avocado trees. At the moment, the price of these beans is seriously high. It could mean paying upwards of $12 for a cup of joe, but there's definitely a market for high-quality California coffee, which has scored very well on quality tests. And in time with new technology and more production, the cost per harvest is likely to go down. For decades, the only serious coffee-growing region in the United States has been in Hawaii, which is famous for its Kona coffee. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
Here is your 30-second news brief. Critics in Florida say the long-awaited bill to dismantle Obamacare could be disastrous for 3.6 million Florida residents who rely on Medicaid. 5 people were arrested at a city council meeting in Hollywood, Florida, when a fight broke out over streets named for Confederate generals. AAA says more Americans will travel this Independence Day, and they're coming to Florida. And dozens of Orlando men walked a mile in high heels and skirts